The summary of lessons is simply this, that men always choose war. You can see it in every television show that men watch. You know, there's always a gun or a fight or something. There's always a winner and a loser. That's what they do. They make life into a game. And a game, of course, is where someone wins and someone loses. Every movie that men flock to is a war picture. Star Wars is just a war picture with costumes and characters you don't often see. The constant of men is that they must prove that they're the winner. Yeah, is it an animal thing or what? I don't know. The consequence of that is that every decision that will be made and has been made throughout all of history is about war, and it's about winning, and it's about losing. And the consequence of that is that our world has changed. Now, we cannot afford winners and losers. We can't. There are too many people. No matter what you think, the world has changed. There are too many people to admit to anything else. Our population has doubled, more than doubled in the last 50 years. And it's a finite planet. You're moving into everything. Men are, or men and women, of course, shove them too. But the end result of it is, of course, that the things that women choose are based upon love and family and things like that. And those movies that women want to go see are based on love and family and things like that. And the TV shows that women like to watch are based on love and family and things like that. In other words, there is a distinct difference between what men choose and what women choose. And the consequence of that is that in this lifetime, in this spot of time that is going to choose what our future will be, it would be better if we chose in the same framework as women do than as men do. And of course that means that life would be different, because different is different. It means that war will end because there will be law, and it means that we have to pick the right law, and women cannot do that on their own, which means, of course, that to balance what this world needs, we have to have both men and women decide what is or is not fair, what is or is not justice, and what is or is not equality. So that the equity of what we do or we do not have is considered to be okay. Law is the basis of building a society with order. If you don't want to build a society with order, you can be like men and choose chaos. Every time they lose, they create hate, and then when enough hate has accumulated itself, this is not fair to me, I gave away too much or whatever it is, they group together and demand a war, as they are doing today. People who want to prove that they're the winner create wars. People that take too much and create deserts cause wars. People who just want to, who say that they've lost too much, want a war. And of course history is filled with all the people who chose war. Filled with it. 5,000 years of recorded history that we can realistically count on proves that the answer of man is war. That's the answer. And of course, war today, in a world that's overrun with humanity, in a world that's overrun with weapons of mass destruction, a world that is losing all its resources and killing every chain of life there is, cannot tolerate another world war. Cannot. You might be able to rebuild what has already been torn down by war, and then again you might not. It is certainly true that you cannot simply keep on throwing everything away. You will not be going to the store to go get more. There is not enough resources. It's a finite world. And if you don't consider the future, There will be no future. That is the summary of all things. Either the future lives because you chose it to live, or every child that exists is going to hate you because you stole their world and you killed it. You chose to do that because you just didn't care. You cared about greed more than you cared about life. And that greed is, of course, a dumpster of human emotion, which is basically just, I lost, so I want revenge. There is, countless disease of arrogance and apathy and disrespect for life. Evolution certainly leads the way on that. Complete disrespect for life. Anybody with a brain knows that evolution is a lie in all its facets. There is adaptation because the human mind or the human body or the human anything is built with thought, and thought creates the ability to adapt. Nothing living is by accident. That's absolutely true. Nothing living is by accident. It is clearly, deliberately, and without question built by thought. That means thought came first. There's no such thing as the chicken or the egg came first. Thought came first. Thought came first because you cannot build anything without thought. You can't throw, the trash away without thought. Thought is what makes life real. Thought gives you the freedom to understand that you are alive. Thought gives you the opportunity to make decisions for yourself. Thought is what life is about. And so we understand that war is not going to solve your problems. We must accept the fact that we need to think too. And we cannot think without assembling what the evidence really says. We have to know what the real evidence says, not the manufactured lies of university experts or any other person, but the real, actual, proven by reality evidence is. That's nothing like COVID. We have to know what the real evidence is. And then we have to make a decision for ourselves. That is the path towards our future. And as far as, whether or not life lives or dies after death, it is about forces. It is about, without energy, energy is what gives you motion. And without motion, you're dead. So we know that motion is time, but life is not time. Life is something else. And we can know that the force which gives motion, which creates energy, which creates motion, the background foundation of energy is force. And so therefore we know that force is involved, and it doesn't have to move. It causes motion. It isn't motion, it causes motion. So we can say that life does have a basis in and a foundation in force that would allow for an eternity to exist. We know that thought is not based in the brain. That's just an intellectual governing of the body itself. So you can believe whatever you want to. That doesn't matter. What matters is truth. And truth survives. Lies do not. So whatever is true in you will survive, but whatever is a lie will die. It will be removed from you, because that's what the spiritual world is about. Removing the lies so that you can survive. But of course, if there's nothing left but lies, you won't. So anyway, we need to assemble the fact that things must be different, because we are too many people on this planet for anything less than law. Therefore, we must choose differently. And the simple truth of that matter is that women are more likely to lead in a direction toward law than are men. Women are more likely to lead in a direction toward love and family than are men. It's the simple truth of it. You can see it throughout all of human behavior. Therefore, it should be women that have to lead us now. Not because they're better. They're not better. They make poor decisions all the time, refuse to take responsibility for what they do, and of course, if something goes wrong, they insist that, it's your fault, it's not mine, and things like that. So they can't do it on their own. And of course, men have been doing it on their own for 5,000 years or more, and they can't do it on their own either, because their end result is war. It's war. It's always been war. We've got 5,000 years of recorded history to prove it's always war. There is nothing in men that is not going to choose war in the end, because they have a set hierarchy of people who are in charge and who are going to lead, and they're going to lead to war. And of course, once the war starts, the rest of them are forced to choose. Well, either you're with us or you're against us. You're the enemy or you're the friend, or whatever it is. And so the herds are formed, and the battle begins. So if we're going to survive, this isn't here and now today. We stand at the edge of people who are going to create war. China is ready to create war. Russia is already engaged in war. Israel is engaged in war. Trump is certainly headed toward war. And so is the nation, because they chose him. Because they want something different. Because they want to remove the people who are stealing their lives. And of course, the people who've been in charge are stealing their lives. University is stealing their lives. University is terrorizing their lives. University is wrecking their nature. University is, creating everything bad. That was their contribution, and 50 years later we know it was their contribution, and that's the best that they did do. They lied, they cheated, they stole. That's, as far as life goes, that's the best they did do. You can point to, like NASA or something and say, oh great, oh great, oh great. But the fact of the matter is that there is nothing there that really actually helped life on Earth. Nothing. And you can point to computers and say, this is great, and it is a interesting reality. But the fact is that there's not much that actually helped living their life on Earth. And their robots are intended to take over life on Earth, because the intellectuals just want to have their life, and that means they're going to kill you, because there are too many people. There are too many people. Without women to decide, without question, without any complaint, that population control is absolutely necessary, is a fundamental of our existence. Absolutely necessary. There isn't any other choice. We must accept the fact that population control is necessary. And that means more have to die, or more can't be born. It's one or the other. And of course, you can't just wave your hand and get rid of 1 billion people, and that wouldn't even help much. In real terms, that wouldn't even help much, because that billion would be back in 10 years. During the baby boom, the birth rate was almost 3%. And of course, 3 times more than today means that 1 billion people would arrive in 4 years. So, more than 1 billion. So, it's up to us to make the decision that is going to keep our lives and our Earth, functioning. We cannot sustain the future by poisoning it. We cannot sustain the future by mutilating nature. We cannot sustain the future by choosing to hide from the reality that you burn too many fossil fuels, you release too much heat, and you have to make different choices. You cannot hide from what is real, because reality matters. Unlike the university claim that reality does not matter, that we can have as many numbers as we want, The end result of that is that, they created a criminal organization to steal us blind and give away the nation and forfeit everything that was ever built on in this United States. They threw it all away, all of it. There's nothing left. We have to either declare bankruptcy now and for ourselves, and then control what that was going to mean. We're going to control how that's going to play out. We're going to control who gets whatever is left and who doesn't. We're going to use limited capitalism to make sure that this doesn't return, and things like that. Law is needed. It's your choice.